Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Port Adelaide. It is morning, 9:56 by my watch, Phil, at the wonderful surrounds of Port Adelaide. I am joined in commentary. My name is Dave Webb, and I am joined in commentary by SA Hall of Famer Phil Herden. Good morning, Phil.
Morning, Dave, and a special good morning, WA, where it is currently 8:30 in the morning. Hope you're enjoying your breakfast. This is like watching the NFL on a Monday morning, Dave. Crack of dawn. We've been seeing how both teams adjust to a different time slot to what they're used to playing.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. I had a chat with some of the WA boys this morning. They flew in last night. They stayed in Port Adelaide, the Riviera of South Australia.
It is, yes.
You were saying they were up at 6 o'clock this morning, which for most people is an early time, but for them, with the jet lag, it's 4 o'clock in the morning for them, or it was, at least when they started off.
Yeah, look, it's very early. I mean, it's the same for both. And, of course, yeah, wise move by WA. A lot of teams are fly in, fly out on the same day, and I think WA wise to make a longer trip of it as we have the coin toss.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to see whether we can get some idea as to who got that coin toss. Struggling to see, to be honest. But so that's an interesting one, because we are early in the morning, the sun is coming right across the field.
Yes.
It's almost in our eyes. It's just gone above our shelter. But it's that weird weather where there's a chill in the air, but it's not cold enough for a jacket.
Not quite sure enough whether to put the hoodie on or break out in the polo shirt. I'd say it's pretty good conditions to play in, though. You'd have to say there's not much wind. Sun is mainly behind a cloud. Cool conditions if you're a player. This is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic day. Our umpiring crew, you've got the list somewhere.
Have indeed. Head referee Paul Mercer, centre judge Paul Taylor, the umpire Scott Milway, head linesman Matt Peterson, line judge Gordon Tuff, side judge Chris Atkins, field judge Martin Muck, and the back judge Kevin Chen. Once again, a full crew of 8 officials from around the country. Week 4 of the Australian Gridiron League, the Sharks. This is the last hurrah for them this season. WA have got plenty ahead. And I'm expecting, and I'll explain it as we go along, I'm expecting this to be one of the games of the tournament, Dave.
Yeah, so James Plowman will get us underway for South Australia. Beautiful sunny morning here in Port Adelaide. WA looking to keep their unbeaten record intact. SA looking to tag one on the board.
The kickoff is underway, picked up, I think, by Lou, who runs it back well for the Raiders across the 30-yard line.
Much better start from South Australia. We saw somebody break through and actually get hands on, but again, it's the same issue that we talked about last time we were here. They're getting there and they're not finishing that first tackle. Didn't
take long, Dave. The first player up, whose number is not on our roster, number 46 WA.
We'll see whether we can find out who that is at half-time.
Which is a wonderful segue, Dave. If you're watching, which I assume you are, on the live stream and you're from WA and you know who number 46 is, be part of the broadcast team and let us know. It's Raider football, 1st and 10 from about their 32-yard line.
What's interesting, Phil, is I've seen a couple of players out there on the WA side who are wearing the Outback helmets. Do you feel like you're just sticking your head above the parapet somewhat wearing your national clothes?
You look at me, I represent Australia as Gasterov, the quarterback throws. WA have a completion and they have a first down with bonus yardage on the opening play and on the receiver. He was a key player last week, Vince Vilasano, on the reception, and it's taken one offensive play. WA are in Sharks territory.
Simple little screen pass by Bajera making the tackle eventually. Simple little screen pass, which no penetration into the backfield from South Australia, unfortunately. Couldn't get there. Normally with those swing passes and screen passes, you see the corners really get into the backfield and shut them down for short yardage, but not on that occasion.
There you go, Strop. You can see wearing the Rockingham Vipers helmet, the WA champions. This time fakes the throw, the handoff, and met at the line of scrimmage. Big question mark on South Australia. Can they stop the run? And on this occasion, they've managed to do so. On the carry on that occasion, number 44 for the Raiders, Doug Stewart.
I saw an Oilers helmet in there. I'm not sure whether that's Caleb Ogbaday in the middle there. I definitely saw an Oilers helmet on the first contact, but it's going to be a big, long day. We talked about it last week. With a running game, that clock will keep going.
Yeah, South Australia has struggled all season to stop the run. That will give their defence some joy. Gastrov goes back, puts it to the air, going long to the far sideline, batted out of bounds. Again, it's that man, Vince Villasano, the intended receiver. But on this occasion, the Sharks defence up for it. And for the first time today, 3rd down in the Australian Gridiron League, 3rd and long for the Raiders. Of course, Dave, 2 games today. After this one's done and dusted, we'll be going to Wollongong for the Sun Devils and the Wolfpack, Queensland, New South Wales.
Wollongong is one of those places that you can't say without an Australian accent.
It's very hard to say with any other kind.
Yeah, it's uniquely Australian.
3rd and long. Raiders have it. They're throwing the ball, Western Australia, on this occasion into the South Australian sideline. So having given up touchdowns early in all their games, the Sharks defence in their last hurrah have started strongly. We're 4th and long, punt situation for the Raiders.
Better. Bit of a nervy start, and we talked about last week the nerves. So this is the second game that South Australia have played at home, so you would think that they would be more comfortable. They would have the upper hand, you think, as far as, you know, time zones and being able to sleep in your own bed, etc. But there's the snap.
So that's a low kick. Almost had to have a second look at that to make sure that was a punt and not a pass. It just had that low trajectory. Never got more than 10, 15 feet in the air. Out of bounds inside the Shark 20-yard line. For the first time today, it'll be the home side SA Sharks starting inside their red zone.
We talked about it last time we were here as well, the difficulty in punting in that area where you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because essentially what South Australia have got is essentially a touchback from that. They're starting around the 20-yard line. You would hope that your punter can get it within that 10, especially if you're looking at the directional kind of punt.
So we've got Tedmondson at quarterback. Oh, we've got a passing frenzy. The pass to Benjamin, looking for somewhere to run on the far side, and he's got himself a first down. So both sides have come out throwing this morning and have both got first downs on their opening play through the air.
And both of them were swing passes. The nice thing about Benjamin, we talked about South Australia missing the first tackle. Andrew Benjamin will make people miss. Cheeky feet that young man has.
So first down and 10, South Australia at about the 30-yard line. Again, let's try this again. Different receiver on this occasion. I think that was...
I think that's Rennie, James Rennie.
James Rennie on the far side. It was indeed. So he's out of bounds at around about the 32-yard line. On this occasion, gain of just a couple. So both teams at either end of the ladder. The Raiders are undefeated, and boy, have they given their supporters some heart stoppers in their games. Had to come from 9 points down in the final 6 minutes to beat New South Wales and Wollongong. Got 16-0 up against Victoria, gave up 22 unanswered points. Came from 8 down in the final 6 minutes to win last week in Perth. As the Sharks are on the run. Now this one's a little bit interesting, Dave. I've got 36 out there for the Sharks. He's down as Damien Vala, but he's wearing a blue helmet with an oil rig on it. And I know that Damien's a teammate of yours at the Spartans.
He's definitely a Spartan, and he's gone through a couple of helmets during this series.
No off-season trade you're not aware of?
No, well, I don't know. There's a brand new coach at the Oilers. There's a couple of brand new coaches down at the Oilers, so maybe some trade movement.
Third down for the Sharks. Tedmondson back, throws across the middle, through some hands and incomplete.
Just missed Sam Morton, who I think it's his first year seniors. I think Sam Morton's his first year seniors, and big target. The Razorbacks will have a tight end for years to come, I think. A big target, good hands on him as well. Certainly somebody the QB would want to find.
So South Australia go 13 yards in their 4 plays, lined up to punt. Waiting back deep. Now this is a man, if he gets the ball, they've got 2 back. They've got Villasano and Honda WA, both very dangerous, ball in hand, open field.
46 is Jake Taylor.
Thank you so much. We love our Facebook audience. We love yous all. The snap. Tedmondson unloads with a long, nice drop punt. Honda scored a key touchdown last week. He's off. Flag on the play. Our first. He's off on the far sideline. Still scampering, still going. Takes on.
Wow,
introduces himself to Hamish Lee Robbins.
Stand up. Well, there's another couple down as well. I think there was some big punishing blocks. James Rennie slow to get up, just trying to have for luck. Darren Legge also slow to get up as well. There was a block.
Yep.
Penalty on the return, and he's just wiped out all of the good work by Honda.
Yep. Not the way you want to do it. Not a way to get in the good books with your coaching staff, but Honda, I mean, it wasn't Honda who created the penalty, of course. WA are keeping to the air. Villasano has it on the Raiders sideline. Oh, they love taking on the defenders, the Raiders runners.
I tell you what, there will be some South Australian boys who'll wake up tomorrow morning knowing that they've been in a football game. Some of these hits are...
Watch this, folks. Here we go, and thank you.
It's not just at the ball. In back play as well, there is some serious hits.
Told you, I have a feeling this is going to be the most entertaining game we might see all season. And there's been plenty of them. SA, look, they're winless, but gee, they're putting up a highlights tape. They can be very explosive at time. And the Raiders, both of their games close, both requiring comebacks in the final minutes. So we can get a mismatch combination of those two. We're in for something special for your Saturday morning.
Second and about half a yard. So 2nd and 1, but like less than that. The famous Dallas Cowboys with the piece of paper?
As the throw, this is a first down. We're talking Tom Landry era? Piece of paper? Oh, yes, Oakland Raiders. I think Oakland Raiders. I know No, you're right. No, you're right. It was Dallas Cowboys, the chains. We're going to put the piece of paper to work out the first down. As an official, Dave, you would love that you'd eat that kind of stuff up, wouldn't you?
No, that was insane. I was 100% on was it a catch.
That was insane, or the umpires are insane?
Well, both, to be honest. That's one of the most weird things I've ever seen in a football game. But I was 100% on the catches. Catch, no catch. I've got it down.
You've got it down. I'll tell you, there's a job for you in New York if you've got it down. No one else has. As Villasano's off and running down the Sharks sideline, and he is off in Sharks territory, bouncing, bumping, takes 3 Sharks to get him down. Biggest play of the day so far, and the Raiders are in Sharks territory at the 26-yard line.
Whenever you got people in the secondary making tackles on running backs, you know that something has gone wrong. Big thing that CJ, who's the defensive coach for South Australia, will preach is containment. And if you've got your running backs bouncing outside and running down that sideline, then containment's blown.
Well, first time an opponent's been in decent field position. The Raiders 1st and 10. Gastrov, fake short. Goes long, has his man right near the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. It's a Phantom 46. As Dave goes back to the phone.
Get back to his name, Jake Taylor.
Jake Taylor, you're not on our roster, but you're on the scoreboard. 6-0 Raiders with the conversion to come.
Yeah, that's... Ball was in the air a long time. He's almost waiting for it to come down. Again, not something that coaches will be happy at.
So now we'll see how WA go with their extra point kicking. Keith Eadie, 73 from the Perth Blitz. You can see the lightning bolt on the helmet.
That's a good number for a kicker, isn't it?
73, that's blocked. Live ball and down. And I was going to say, Dave, that one of the Raiders' strengths is their special teams. They beat New South Wales on a 40-yard field goal, beat Victoria on a blocked punt. On this occasion, just a man unmarked, and even I might have blocked that one if I was left that unmarked.
Brad Vajera, Port Adelaide native, actually. He lives just down the road. He would have had an extra 10 minutes in bed this morning.
He can show the Raiders where the Port Adelaide nightlife is tonight.
Well, they are staying tonight. Well, I would say go to the Port Admiral Hotel, which is owned by a Spartan. Wonderful food, wonderful craft beer.
Good place to hang out after a game here, Dave?
That's where they should go, to the Port Admiral. They'll get there around midday.
Not station-sponsored Port Admiral Hotel.
Just a friend.
Just a friend. Well, up and running. 6-0 the scoreline in favour of the Raiders. Now, the way the script is supposed to work is WA is supposed to win here, and then Queensland is supposed to win in Wollongong, and then the 2 undefeated teams meet next week in Perth.
Well, that'll be a big one.
If that doesn't happen, I'm not sure how the tiebreakers all work.
Well, yeah, that's something that even New York would struggle with, I think.
That's it. Eadie with the kick. Here's long. Here come the Sharks on the run back. This is Henry Olsen.
He just lost his footing and his knee went down, and we spoke about it. IFAF rules.
Yep.
Knee goes down, that's the end of the play. Better, though, from a kick-off return point of view from South Australia. There was a lot less Raiders in his face when he got hold of the ball.
G'day, good morning to Eric, our favourite, our wild Canadian. Hope you're enjoying this. This is Football with 11 Men, Eric.
No movement before the snap.
And John Reggett and Gary Hearn watching from crack of dawn in WA. 1st and 10 Sharks. Unfortunately, in a familiar position, trailing early. Tedmanson with the keep will gain a couple.
Kind of a semi-slide from Tedmanson as well. He's obviously...
I saw him slide last week.
He's obviously mellowing in his old age.
We did make the observation, doesn't slide much, but I did see it in last week's coverage. And g'day to all the Queensland viewers who might be getting a bit of a curtain raiser taste before their big game against the Wolfpack, which will start around about the time we finish, I reckon. 2nd down and 6. To the air we go. Going long. There's a man open, and that was a huge throw from Tedmanson, looking for Hamish Lee Robbins, but about 2 or 3 yards too far.
He had the step. Just one less Weetabix for Teddy in the morning. I think we would have seen a touchdown.
There's not much of a breeze, but that's the way it's blowing.
He got open, he got behind the secondary, and there was literally the only person who could have stopped him would be the back judge.
So 3rd down, 6. South Australia trailing by 6. Ball at about the 25. Flags everywhere. Why did I know you'd pick that up?
It's a flag parade.
You know,
Play went though, so you would suggest it's on the defensive side.
Yeah, it could be.
Sorry,
Wasn't blown.
side.
Play wasn't blown dead. You're right, and I love the way, even though the officials, and it is well spotted, Dave. It's against the defense. 5 yards. We'll put it 3rd and 1. I love the fact these officials are from all over the country, but the synchronicity of that throw, simultaneous at the same time, was beautiful.
But in fairness, both of them are South Australian boys. That's Gordon Tuft on the near side and Matt Peterson over there. So the South Australian boys obviously working hard on their synchronised flag work.
3rd and 1, Sharks. Tedmanson is in the shotgun. Hands off. I'm not sure about that one. I don't think he even got close to the running back on that occasion.
Not much there. I know that Tedmanson doesn't play under centre, but this is the time that you would think, just get under centre, QB sneak, pull your way forward for a yard.
G'day to Kieran Ryan and Dave Lloyd as our viewer numbers soar into the stratosphere. Prime time we're on, Dave, in the US.
Well, we'd love to see that. Well, we'll check that afterwards, see how many people
We are the biggest game in the Gridiron universe right now.
Yeah.
4th down and 2. Tedmanson, the quarterback, back to punt. A little bit of confusion on the Sharks special teams. I think they've worked out they got 12 now.
Well, 11, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, that's the... That's right. I was looking to see if they're... Tedmanson rolls out as the kick around the corner. Picked up nicely, but really no room to move, and it will be WA ball. So, heading towards the end of the first quarter, and it is Raiders ball. They lead 6-0.
Pajera with another tackle. He's putting in a shift today. Just a reminder as well to people at home, the clock is unofficial. We're doing everything we can to keep hold of it. A wonderful production team to our left, David Muggleton directing, and Josh Tester will be looking after the time and the down and distance and the score. It's a full-on job in American football.
There is a lot happening. There is a lot happening to keep an eye on.
If we did another game, we'd test him even more with the play clock.
Yes. And look, we've watched the other streams with interest of how they've done the clock. As that's a run by the Raiders. Your more traditional play there, you can see one of the Vipers runners on that occasion. That was Ben Gastrov, the quarterback keeper.
Run it up the middle.
You can see lots of helmet dots. Now, I assume that the Vipers might have a system where you play a certain number of games or win or achieve certain things, you get stickers. Ben Gastrov, leader on and off the field, not just the quarterback of the Raiders, and I assume the Vipers, but also the president of Gridiron West.
Well,
to boot, busy man.
So the two presidents are out there. Andrew Stevens wearing number 68. is out there. Not his normal number, but he's playing a bit of offensive line, so has to wear the number 68.
Luke Hegney, he's from the Curtin Saints, and I love that gold helmet. That looks superb. Curtin Saints, that is. Luke Hegney, he makes the catch, and just checking if that moves the chains. No, it's going to be short. Third down, about 4 yards to go. If you've just joined us, WA's third possession, they punted. Scored a nice touchdown on a long pass. South Australia have got a first down, but have punted on both their series. Raiders ball. Gastrov loves going long. Going again, and intercepted. Shark football, Henry Olsen.
Well, there is a man who I spoke to him after the game last week. I felt he had a tough day in the office last time we were here. That's how you come back and you stick your stamp on it. That's what South Australia want. He's done well, really good position. Watched him train on Wednesday night. Watched him train on Monday night with it, and his ability to deal with the deep route. He did a lot of work on it in training on Monday, and he comes up with the good result there.
Yeah, Gastrov had good time early, was about to get collected, maybe just underthrew it a tad, and that gave Olsen front position. Tedmanson goes with a quick sideline pass. Here's your excitement machine, Seb Burford. If you're going to watch one Shark player today, it's the number 18 in the silver helmet. He has 4 touchdown receptions thus far in a team that's scored 30 points through the season.
Very, very aware that the outback is sniffing around young Mr. Burford. The senior men's team are certainly having a look at him.
Well, Dave Lloyd saying Brad Vergera. And yeah, we put the link up on the, just a comment about putting the link out there. Well, we did put it on the Australian Gridiron League Facebook. We put it on the Gridiron West Facebook. We're on the Gridiron South Australia Facebook. So hopefully, I'm assuming you're watching, you found it through one of those channels.
There's a flag on the play. We don't have the referee mic'd up at the moment. Flag came from the back, normally suggests a holding.
Paul Mercer, our head official.
Personal foul. Is that a chop block?
I usually refer to you for all things from officialdom, Dave, but it's
it,
going to be big yardage, I suspect,
personal
on the
foul
Sharks.
15 yards.
Half distance from there.
It's going to be close to.
And if that's right, I think I've got that. I've got 3 penalties so far. Now, admittedly, I'm taking stats whilst calling, so these are not to be taken as anywhere near official or accurate. But I have that as the first penalty on South Australia today. WA have been penalised twice. Second down, a long way to go. Heading into the latter stages. Of course, we're going to be talking for a long while, Dave, because they are throwing the ball so much. And that means the clock generally only ticks down in snippets. Second down and long. Tedmanson, no one in the backfield. Receivers all across the line of scrimmage. Steps right, throws left long and over the top of everyone.
Talk about pressure. There was a white helmet that went through there untouched, like he had spiders all over him. No one wanted to touch him. Just untouched into the backfield, and that put a lot of pressure on. He's come from outside linebacker and just waltzes through a gap.
I think that was Jared Bennett's number 28 in the said white helmet, who was half a step away from a safety on that occasion. Third and long. WA defensive backs will be looking for the football here. Of course, SA don't want to turn it over. It's a one-play game as we speak. Again, no one in the backfield. Tedmanson under pressure. Throws across the middle in and out of the hands of James Rennie. Incomplete. And Tedmanson will be punting from his end zone.
These are butterfly times. These are certain, like if you're stood in the end zone and waiting for that snap to come, especially the last punt we saw, the snap was a high one. It took a while to get there. Now every time, so that might be quarter.
Mitchell Kavanagh is number 24.
Is it quarter? Oh no, they've got a penalty.
Well, well, well.
Have they called that pass interference?
That's the only, well, you'll have to go to the replay on that, but we know the outcome.
Well, it must have been pass interference. I think.
Let's have a look.
Well, that's the earlier one. I'd just like to see Tedmondson throw it out of bounds on that one.
Yeah, and if it was interesting because I'm not sure from the replay how that was ever catchable. Anyway, it's first down South Australia and Tedmondson's on the run. And the Oiler / Sharks quarterback has himself 8 yards.
He had Voller then on the option. Didn't really get his head up and look for him. Desperately trying to find. By the time I find that signal, it'll be full time anyway. So I'm not going to bother. But I'm sure it's like a chop block or an illegal block. We go back to that personal foul, but. Oh, look at the flags, none there.
Second down, long throw for the sideline and incomplete. G'day to Vilboy, Agata and Stephanie, who I think are all getting up at the crack of dawn. Perfect time to watch this game. Can you imagine what it's like being an NFL fan in WA? Now, we get up 5:30, 7 o'clock to watch those early Sunday games. That's got to be like 3:30, 4 o'clock WA time. That's real early. That's real commitment.
Back in the UK, it was a tough watch, especially Monday Night Football was a tough watch.
Oh, yeah.
That was 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Another blitz coming.
Yeah, Tedmondson gets the throw around. Is Bedford, has he caught that? No, he was doing one of his I'm going to turn around and catch this whilst running backwards routines that scored him a touchdown against the Wolfpack.
I'm just asking a little question about a flag. We go to another 4th down.
This will be a good angle, I reckon. I think that one's pretty well fair. Ben Green, number 17, wearing the helmet, not of Michigan, but of the West Coast Wolverines. I reckon that's an awesome.
One of my favourite helmets, I'll be honest, the Wolverines helmet. I do like it.
Yeah, makes no sense. And mind you, I don't really know what a Wolverine looks like, so maybe it does.
Hugh Jackman.
Of course, well, that should be a claw. Tedmondson with the punt. Villicano has it. He looked right. He looked left. He decides he's going to run right. Again, carnage and a flag thrown at that block.
Oh, he's moving. Okay. He didn't look like he was going to move.
And that's caused a commotion.
Hard. Well, that's Smith. Just see whether we can see what happens. Someone comes flying in. Oh, that's a nasty one.
That is a nasty one, and that will be WA backed up in there close to their goal line, I reckon.
When I first saw it, I thought that he got pushed into that, but he didn't. He just fires himself at his knees. Yeah.
So we're going to have a chance to have a chat, I think, Dave, because this is going to be an injury timeout.
Because that did not look good. The initial contact on the outside of that knee.
So if you join us, let's just set the scene maybe. It is a penalty called by the official now on WA. It'll be half distance to the goal line. They'll still have the ball, of course, 1st and 10. We are week 4 of a 5-week Australian Gridiron League season. It is a biannual national championships. One round robin series, 5 states, 4 games. You play 4 games and have a bye. At the moment, South Australia have played 3, are winless, but they are making it interesting every game they play. WA are unbeaten. They have had 2 big comebacks. And at the moment, the ladder has WA and Queensland 2-0. New South Wales is 1-1. Victoria is 1-2. South Australia 0-2. And WA meet Queensland next week. So if both win today, that will be for the championship. Queensland play New South Wales in Wollongong later today.
I think if, well, it can't be. I mean, if WA go through and win today, then it's winner take all in the next one.
Yeah. And I don't think, the only one outside of those 2 who I think has a chance of winning it would be New South Wales. If New South Wales have a big win over Queensland and Queensland beat WA, then we have this weird tiebreaker, and I got no idea how it sorts itself out, where WA beat New South Wales beat Queensland, Queensland beat WA. I think they get together, they play rock, paper, scissors, and the winner of that gets the cup.
Yeah, it could go back, but a lot of count back. I'm trying to find out who it is. I know it's an eagle. I can see it's an eagle. He looks like he's in a fair amount of pain, which is not surprising. He was hit hard, and that first contact was just right on the outside of the knee.
Yeah.
I think it's his left knee.
Yeah. Now, I should add, and maybe I'm getting in early, but we're playing at 10 o'clock in the morning, not as some sort of ruse to put WA off, but because there is a game of rugby league and rugby union. This is a multi-sport facility.
Just rugby union today. Port Adelaide will be taking on, there we go, 23, which is Brad Overall.
Yeah.
I was going to say, take them that way. Don't bring them all the way across. Don't make them
Well,
all the way
that's
across.
the main reason for that is the stretcher is there and ready on the other corner, but not needed.
What's interesting, Drew Aitken having a chat with the gentleman in the white hat. I'm sure he's asking the question as to whether... Now, I get that we are South Australian, and I get that we might be a little bit biased, but if I was Drew Aitken, I'd be asking about an ejection, because that's dangerous. It was not a good look from where I was sat. I didn't get a number. We'll have another look at it now, Phil.
Okay.
But I thought he got pushed into it, and he doesn't. He just goes straight at the knees. There's one of our Wolverines.
Apologies to Velibor. You do need to appreciate we are watching our screens with the sun to our backs, which is unusual, so it is a little hard to read small print today. Apologies that I pronounced your name incorrectly. I'll put $1 in the fine jar for you. Back to some football action. 1st and 10 Raiders. They lead by 6, but are backed up inside their own 10. This is Villicano. Looks like he's from the Broncos of Perth. Makes a few miss, and he's going to test that first down marker, and I think that is first down Raiders.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to cause some problems, Vince Villicano. He's patient. He wasn't going at 100 miles an hour. You could tell he wasn't going at 100%. He was waiting for it to develop in front of him. That is quarter time.
What a quarter.
Yeah, interesting.
Not quite the scoring slugfest that we've seen in most South Australian games. We've actually seen a little bit of defence here today in the opening quarter, which has been nice to see. And great to see the numbers building, and g'day to Gavin, to Lee, to Colin joining us on the chat. And yeah, look, feel free to put your comments in. We'll keep our eye on it when the game allows us to.
Yeah, I'll get a report at half-time as to what the injury is. There's some people asking whether it was knee. It looks like a knee.
Yeah, everything indicates that's the matter of hand.
Villicano, was it Velibor?
Velibor.
Velibor is quickly becoming our Perth go-to expert. He says Villicano is a Viper. He's another one with a broken helmet.
So I got the helmet right, but I think that should be banned. Swapping helmets when you play rep football. You want the no outback helmets because you put a target on yourself. I want to keep your club helmet. There's a pass on the far side, another first down WA.
I don't have a major issue with people wearing it. I do think you put a target on your back though.
You do a little bit. Of course, I don't think you could play this game without having a degree of confidence you're good at it.
No, there is certainly a fair amount of ego that goes with playing Gridiron. If you're going to run at full speed into somebody wearing pads, then you have to have some confidence about you.
Of all the games, sportsmen who have egos, NFL would have to be up there. NBA.
What I would say, though, the ego is there whistle to whistle, but some wonderful blokes off the field. All
absolutely.
Blokes off the field.
And as WA have taken off on that far sideline.
Villicano the Viper.
Villicano the Viper / Bronco helmet wearing man. And you can see there's a Viper helmet on the left. Something we really enjoy about, and I think you see the symbolism of it there, right there, every snap. The teams together with the same pants and the tops united as a state team, representing their various clubs with the helmets. Comes across to Honda. Watch out, Weld. Here comes Honda.
Oh, there's a hit in
spun
midfield.
around. Voller deciding, I'm sick of getting hit in the backfield. I want to lay a couple of my own. And there you can see the well-awarded Brant Honda there with the various footy stickers. Should we get some of those for commentating, you reckon? If we go through a game without stuffing someone's name up, they'll give us a sticker?
Well, we're both done at this point already. We're both in trouble.
We lost cause.
Well, Overall is up and around and walking under his own steam, which is good news. You can see him walking across the back. Don't know whether we'll see him again today.
WA They have the lead. They have the ball. Early stages of the second quarter. They're trying to run it.
Fumble.
Ooh. And a break for WA as Villicano fumbled. And I think, just trying to pick up the Raider who recovered that.
I think the whistle came anyway before.
Yeah.
I think they were calling him down before the ball
Taylor
came out.
Regovitis.
Andrew Stevens making the hit, the president of Gridiron SA.
That's it. 4th down and short. If you get a look at the down marker in a minute, you'll see that it's right on there. You can see it there. WA aren't punting. They're going for it. They've watched the tape. They know South Australia's run defence is not great. And they've got it at midfield, 1st down Raiders.
That's what I was talking about, that short yardage. Get your QB under centre, just push it over that 1 yard. That's all you need. Give yourself 4 new goes.
Vernon Brockway with the recovery. I think we'll just have to get Velabor to fly out and he can just be a WA expert. We do our best. We do a little bit of research. We know that the Rockingham Vipers have won the title. And we've had a look at some of the footage of the previous 2 games WA have played. Yet to put, being honest, yet to put a full 4 quarters together as they keep this tripped in the backfield. That was Andrew Stevens there on the toe tapper.
So Andrew Stevens starting to get his name called. Not so much in the last game, but certainly in this one. Wearing number 68 of Jake Lamming. Now, Jake Lamming also is a Spartan, was not MVP, made All-Star this year. Yep. Played really well, had a really good 2017. He was getting ready for the state series. Dislocated his little finger on the Wednesday before the first game. Yeah. So that would be him sitting out. He is here today.
That would be so annoying, wouldn't it? 2nd down and 11. Throw across. Here come the Raiders. Although good solo tackle. That is Trent Hoy, who picked up Boyan Vusic and kept him in the backfield. So whilst they've given up a long touchdown, the Sharks defence is having its share of victories so far this morning.
Yeah, and it's nitpicky. It's really nitpicky.
Go on, be nitpicky. You're the special comments man.
Blackford was there and in the backfield, and we were looking at a South Australia were looking at a 5-yard loss. Yep. Hoey's done very well to keep it to not much of a gain, but just got to break down and make those tackles in the backfield.
3rd and long, going long for Honda. Flag on the play. And when they go up for the ball and the flag is thrown, you know what that's going to be called.
I don't even think Honda thought that was pass interference. If that's called pass interference.
And Dave says that without the replay. Let's have a look.
He's not looking at the ball, which I think is probably the only thing that's going to get him in trouble.
And look.
Andrew Stevens asking the question to Brad Fajera. They have a wonderful relationship, Brad and Andrew Stevens.
Let's have a look. Yeah,
he's not looking for the ball.
And that's your problem. I mean, officials are human too. Believe me, I'm sitting next to one as we speak. And if you're not looking, it's a little bit like in cricket being LBW without playing a shot. You just leave yourself open for that to be called.
Have to get that head round. I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
1st down and 10 Raiders. Villicano finds some room on the Raiders sideline on the eastern, the hills, the city wing. Just to give you some orientation here, you're looking from the coastal sideline, the St. Vincent's Gulf, the Perth sideline, looking towards the east, towards Sydney, Canberra, so forth, and north. To your left of screen is north, that's Port Adelaide, the Backpackers where the Raiders have stayed, and to the south, well, you're heading down towards the airport, Glenelg, and eventually you keep going for about an hour, you get to Southern Districts and my place.
Almost Melbourne.
This one's coming back. Penalty on the play.
I missed the signal on that one, but just trying to see how far they've gone back. They've gone back.
It's
personal foul territory. They haven't gone back 5 yards.
They've gone back 10, I reckon. 10 holding. We do have a couple of sideline items that do block our view. We have to go to the monitor. Beautiful one-handed catch. Villicano keeps in bounds, makes the next 1 or 2 miss, and gets back a fair chunk of that yardage. We're back to 3rd and about 10.
Yards after contact, again, we spoke about it 2 weeks ago. The yards after contact will kill your defence.
That's at least 3 he made miss.
I have to say, seeing that replay again, it feels like a tactic now that WA are looking for legs on the block. And it's not something I overly agree with, but it's certainly effective.
Okay, something for our viewers to keep an eye on at home. Gastrov goes right down the middle. Caught Honda. He's in open space. Will he be caught? Yes, he will. Right by the goal line, 2 yards out. I'm surprised that he may have lost orientation to where the end zone actually was. I'm surprised a couple of yards out he went sideline, didn't go for the dive.
There's a lot of lines out there.
There are a lot of lines. Just watch what he does about 3 yards out. Yeah, that's where I'd dive, right there. Instead he tried to take him on and ended up short. Still first and goal, Raiders.
Good open field tackle by Vajera, but the safeties are both working very, very hard for South Australia, which suggests that it's going to be a long day at the office for them.
Yeah, well, this is... SA have kept it to within 6 points, but the Raiders are threatening. First and goal, about 2 yards away. They're going to try to the air. There's your receiver, and there's your touchdown, Raiders. Daniel Strickland, wearing the Outback helmet, puts another 6 on the board for Western Australia.
Well, you would expect if you're wearing an Outback helmet, then something as open as that, then you would catch it, turn it into 6.
He was in the wide open spaces of the Outback on that one.
Just a simple outback, and he's waltzed over.
So I'm interested to see what WA do here on the extra point attempt.
Well, do they go for the 2?
Now, have we changed the rule? Oh, no. We changed.
We've come further back.
We've come further back.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you go away for a few years and do a different form of football.
Well, apparently the extra points were too easy.
Yeah.
So they brought them back.
At this level, going for 2. To the air they go, and on this occasion will fall short of Luke Hegney. Incomplete. That makes it a 12-0 scoreline if you've just joined us. Probably about a third of a way through the second quarter.
Better coverage. 25 for South Australia. We don't have him on our list. So it's an Oilers boy.
So plenty of Raider viewers, Raider Nation, Raider State, enjoying that one. In fact, what have we got here? This is second down. So have I missed?
Have we not? Was the
have
touchdown
I
not
missed
a touchdown?
something?
Oh no, I'm confused.
Okay, totally confused. How was that not a score?
Point, so there must have been something.
Second and goal.
So we need to take off.
Take off the score.
6, because that's obviously not happened.
Yeah.
We'll see whether we can get some level.
I thought it was. Well, look, it must have been. I'm going to put it down. It must have been a holding call, because it went from the 2 out to the 12 where we are now.
Yeah.
So we were too busy yakking on about Outback and touchdowns and missed the penalty call. So we are still a 6-0 game, I'm going to assume here.
Yeah.
3rd and 11. There is no other way to explain what you're watching, folks.
Brad Overall is moving quite freely, but these are dangerous and horrible things.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yes, we did. Yeah, thanks for what we've got. There was a flag on the play. 3rd, and this is a big one. To Honda, he's your man, and he has caught that on his backside. Touchdown, Raiders.
That's some wonderful touch from the QB.
What a wonderful feel for the football. This one's going in the highlights tape.
Well, Honda paid a little bit of a price for it, you would think. He got landed on by Brad Vajera. Well, let's just hold on and make sure that we get a signal when this one actually is a touchdown. That's one that certainly he won't want to be called back for holding, because it hurt him a little bit.
Yeah. He's up and at him.
In the air a long, long time.
Now it's 12-0.
There we go. So our poor director who messed around to get us back to 6 will go back to 12.
Just take that. But I'll tell you what, Brant Honda, what a drive. The big catch and then the big touchdown reception.
Yeah, so obviously that's the reason that it was further back than we thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this will be the
extra point attempt from where it normally is. I couldn't work out why we were doing an extra point attempt from the 12 instead of the 3.
And we are going for 2 points.
Yep. And incomplete it goes. So WA might want to be working on their extra point attempts before they face the Sun Devils next week. Of course, the two teams played in the last round 2 years ago, the last Australian Gridiron League, and it was an overtime game for the national championship. Queensland got up 17-14. And that was the Sun Devils' back-to-back AGL titles.
Right, now we have someone in the UK watching.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hugh Pearson from way back in my hometown. He's watching this morning. Good morning. Well,
It is.
Good evening. Well, gee, it is good morning. 2:10 in the morning. Hugh is watching.
2 in the morning, so they're all over the place. Great to hear. Look, if you are watching and you haven't put a comment in Facebook, do say g'day. If we're stuffing up, let us know. Kick off to Olsen. He's going to run it right back up the middle. He's got some good carry on this one, down at about the 35. One thing we should mention about the Riverside Oval, Dave, for those that have been keeping stats at home for the last half and wondering why things just aren't matching up, it is because there is no 50-yard line here. Midfield is the 45. So it is a 90-yard, not a 100-yard field. So if you've been taking stats, I apologise now, we didn't say that at the start.
Well, look, there was talk about moving the post a further 10 yards back, but unfortunately, because we've got the overlap with the rugby season at the moment, and we had the overlap with the rugby season at the start of the
long throw, intercepted, WA football, Ben Green, he's made the catch, here comes the run back. Seb Burford eventually takes him out of bounds, so, gee, the SA defence worn out on that drive, get a couple of plays rest, that's it. It's going to be Raiders football at about the 38.
There'll be some defensive players who would just have a sideways glance at your QB. They wanted probably a little bit of a rest after that long drive, and now they're going to have to go through it all again.
This is where SA struggled last week. Their game against Queensland was an awesome first quarter and a bit. It was almost like watching a Rocky bout. Someone would throw a haymaker, connect, then SA would throw another one back. It was going back and forth. And then just as that second quarter started to develop, you could see the class of Queensland, SA started to not be able to throw the punches. You wouldn't want to see the same thing here. SA have kept it close. WA now 2 plays up. They've got the football. Incomplete pass. Another score here, Dave, and they start to get a winning buffer.
That way, again, this is the number 25 for South Australia, who we don't know if anybody knows. Who the number 25 for South Australia is, let us know. That had pick 6 written all over it. Fingertips away from it. Just going through the comments as well.
We will get an update on Brad at the halftime break. Well, we will escape our commentary position and go and check out what's happening.
He is moving quite freely. I think the last time I saw him, he was getting his knee tight. Just looking at the comments, somebody's mentioned that the ladies' AGL is getting ready to go in Perth. That is very true. Dave
the Sandman, I've been told, is one of your...
I think that's just because I'm putting him to sleep.
Oh, putting him to sleep, okay.
Yeah. And I have to say as well, 10 bonus points to, I'm just going to go back and find him, 10 bonus points to Colin Berry for picking up my accent as a Merseyside accent. Well done, Colin. Not many people get that. Good job. 3rd
down and long for the Raiders. As you may have noticed, doesn't take much for us to get distracted. We will try and focus on the footy game.
I am getting very distracted. I'll let you get back to the call in a minute.
3rd down.
Colin Berry says shout out to the Merseyside Nighthawks, and we'll have a shout out to them.
Well, momentum with the Raiders. Pass downfield. That is a big play. And a big first down, Raiders. Bojan Vusic moves the chains.
Again, big plays. They're keeping the defense out there. The secondary has worked very, very hard as well. I would assume that the secondary is now starting to get tired because they had the big drive before and they're going on that big drive again. Someone
will have to explain to me, and this comes from a gentleman. Look, I have commentated this game for 30 years and I have never played a down in pads in anger. Okay. Of why a defense on a long drive tires more than an offense on a long drive? Is it because you're getting pounded on a long drive and you're moving the ball? Anyway, long pass downfield, another big catch. And the Raiders are going to the air. That's your man, the Phantom 46, Jake Taylor.
Tackled by the South Australian Phantom. We still don't know who the number 25 for South Australia is.
Well, so first down Raiders.
Which is while we get ready for this first down, the Merseyside Nighthawks, I will give a shout out to the Merseyside Nighthawks only because I used to play for them. They were the first team that I used to play for. Under Gary Lee was the president of it. First time I ever played back in 2001.
Wow.
The old silver and black.
Silver and black Nighthawks as it's the black and gold Raiders. There's a pass across. This time the Sharks are there. Daniel Strickland, no yak on that one. Tackled as he caught it. And it will bring up second down and long. The Raiders are about 16 yards away. We're just seeing that long pass downfield again on the...
We have the benefits of seeing Facebook at a delay. So
in a delay.
We get to watch a couple of replays from where
and if we don't get it, because we get to watch each play about 4 times if we need to. If we haven't got it right by then, well, we just give up. Second down and 10. To the end zone we go, and that was well thrown. And by that I mean powerfully thrown through everybody. Luke Hegney, the intended receiver.
Going back to what you were saying about not being in pads and why do the defense get more tight? I think part of it is because as an offensive player, you know where your route's going.
Yep.
You can also conserve a little bit. As a receiver, if you know it's a run play, you can conserve a little bit.
If you're not blocking, it's not coming your side.
You know where it's going, so you can conserve a bit. The defense have to work hard every down.
Yep, defense have to go 100% because you never know if it's coming your way. 3rd and 10 Raiders looking to try and put some distance between them and the Sharks. Again, going for the end zone, going long. It's up there, and that is caught. No, out the back. There are a lot of lines out there, Dave.
There's a shed load. Like we said, there'll be rugby on here later today. But I'll go back as well to saying you've never played in pads. I remember the first time I got hit playing American football. I played rugby all my life, and I punted.
Yep.
And someone lit me up, and I thought the world had ended.
Because it's not just what your body's feeling, it's that sound.
Yeah, there was a train. I swear there was a train just went right through me.
You swear that there are something has broken inside.
Like
those pads go pop. That's it. 4th down. Should focus on the game because this is a big play. The Raiders are going for it. 10 yards to keep the ball. They're going for it, and that's going to be held up short. They've gone to Honda on this occasion. Just trying to pick up the SA player. Might have been Trent Hoey, I think.
It was Trent Hoey who made the tackle. Short, so there will be a turnover on downs. Long field to go.
Yeah. And you sort of wonder, was that maybe Honda's error in running a route that was only 8 yards instead of at the first down marker?
You do always question that, but that being said, Honda's feet and his yards after catch and his yards after contact have been good today. But yes, you do have to question the offensive coordinator when you don't run a route to 10 yards. So running a 5-yard hook with 8 yards to go, it doesn't make sense. So
kudos to the Shark D, getting the ball back, and Tedmondson almost
dropped cold.
Almost threw back-to-back interceptions. Ben Green was the man who picked the last one, and I'm not sure if he was thinking end zone before he thought reception.
Yeah, he's probably spent it before he had it, and I think, the comments have stopped going back, but I think Green is the QB for the Wolverines.
Well, knows how to handle a football. Oh, jeez. A big break. The Raiders didn't make use of. Tedmondson, I'll tell you what, I won't mind seeing the pass-run percentage in this game. Goes to Volar. He's the SA MVP. He's got the ball in open field, and he returns the favour and puts Green on the backside.
That's really the first time we've seen him one-on-one in open field, and that's what he enjoys, and he would have looked forward to that. He'll beat himself up a little bit that he didn't keep hold of it, but that's what he wants. He wants that contact.
So that moves the chains. A first down to South Australia. It's at the... And thanks, Vilbar, our virtual special comments expert from Western Australia. Sorry, Velivore. I'll get it right
Flags on
again.
the play. That's a defensive offside.
Free play for the Sharks. Can't make use of it. It's, yeah. Everyone's going for broke on every play.
It's been an interesting game. It's been...
It seems like a long game to me. Yeah, look, we've been going almost the hour. And again, the clock that's on the wall is unofficial. We haven't seen anybody use any timeouts as yet to my notice, so we're not too sure how much time is left. But it is Sharks ball. 1st and 5. So that was the offside penalty. Edmondson again draws attention, throws, and I think that's a pick. It is. Max Bethel gets the Raiders' second pick of Tedmondson this morning, and it will be Raiders' ball pretty close to midfield.
The pressure into the backfield is just causing him to rush his throws and not finding a target, and that's causing them some issues. Now the backup QB, we spoke about it, is Nathan Van Pamelen. They'll have a chat with each other. That's backup QBs do that.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of we've seen New South Wales do it. We saw Victoria do it. I did not check in Queensland whether they changed their quarterback last week against the Sharks. I know that I think Astros played the whole game because he's had to, because WA have never been at a comfort level in any of their contests thus far to go to a backup. Hand off to Villicano, who fumbles, and that just slowed him up enough to miss the corner, and that'll be a tackle in the backfield and a loss on the play for Western Australia.
I think CJ would be a little bit happy with the defensive coordinator. The contain was there for South Australia at that point. He just managed to slip it, but didn't do the damage. We are probably about to go into half-time. We'll certainly try and get you our reports on our injuries of overall. And Darren Legg as well was another one who hopped off, and I don't know whether I've seen him go back on.
2-minute warning.
Oh, well, there we go. 2-minute warning.
So Raiders would love to have a 3-touchdown break to take into this one. Gastrov looking tipped, intercepted, SA.
We need a name for this boy because he keeps doing stuff. Is that Toe? Is that Gary Toe from the Oilers?
It's 25 who's not on my roster.
He's not on the roster, and I saw Toe written on the back, and I'm pretty sure it's Gary Toe.
Okay.
From the Oilers.
Big Toe?
Big Toe. That was a big toe play.
Yes. I don't think Big Toe quite works as a DB. We'll work on that. We're going to have a busy half-time break as we get a few things sorted out here. And just on the tackle, 46, Jack Taylor.
It is Gary Toe.
Excellent.
He's from the Razorbacks.
Excellent.
I shall say it under my breath, the
current South Australian champions and the Australian Gridiron record holder for most state titles.
Well deserved.
Absolutely. They've given pain to both you and me over many years as Tedmondson's incomplete.
Well, I nearly dragged that one in.
Yes, I think between us we have 3 undefeated seasons lost to those guys in a championship game.
Yeah, it's still painful, Phil, to be
Yes.
honest.
Hey, look, my first one was 31 years ago, and I'm still struggling about it. So, good news, Dave, it won't go away.
Probably not.
2nd and 10.
I'm in therapy.
Tedmondson rolls, as he does, to the right-hand side. Looks long downfield. It's an interception.
No, out of bounds.
No, it's a first down. Yeah. James Vincent, a West Coast Wolverine. And we're just playing, this is almost like a game in a parking lot. We're just throwing the ball to each other at the moment. 3 straight drives, finishing with interceptions.
I hate to say it because these are people I know and the people I train with.
I'm feeling frustration in your voice, Dave.
It's just not good enough. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long campaign for Teddy. He needs to get his head up. Like golf, and Tiger Woods said it, you hit a slice, between that shot and the next shot, you talk about anything but golf.
Okay.
Gary isn't playing. Imagine someone's stolen his jersey. Well, I'll go and
So
taking his jersey.
Vincent, a first-year Raider Outback Junior, thanks to Taz. Kastrop, he's racking up the passing stats, going long. Let's have another interception. No.
It's an interception party.
It's like, let's just forget about having a running game, boys. Defense, we're going to throw it in the backfield deep. If our guys catch it, great. If not, you can have the football.
It's like they're playing that good old traditional, what is it, kick to kick? Just throw it up there and let them compete for it?
This reminds me of the Sand Bowl. Now, Dave, you're going to give me a quizzical saying, what's this? Every Christmas down at the Bay Sports Festival, the NFL Australia and us used to organise a Sand Bowl flag football tournament in the beach. Now, you're playing on the sand, flag football, five-a-side. Of course, you're not going to run. You're just going to throw it. And that's exactly what we got here. This time, a sideways throw. Here comes Honda, who's really good most times with the yak. This time gets 8.
Well, there's
Second
that
and third and 2.
contain that we talked about. He had nowhere to go outside. He couldn't come back inside because there's a wall of red. That's the contain that South Australia want. Western Australia have done very, very well bouncing outside it and getting very, very good yardage. Again, frustrating from a South Australian point of view is that we're talking big blown out plays. For 90% of the time they've been able to compete.
Yep.
They just keep getting blown out every now and again.
Third down. 3 yards to go. Half time is imminent. No one's taken a timeout yet. These plays are stopping the clock all by themselves. The throw to the far side. There's your first down, Raider. It's to the Curtin Saint in Luke Hegney. That'll stop the clock for the first down. I don't think he got out of bounds. Timeout called.
Raiders. That's what you want to see. He got to the first down marker, sat there, knew the hit was coming, took it.
Yep.
Much better play calling from the Raiders. We are getting very, very close to halftime now, you would imagine. So, okay, I'm going to put you in the dressing room. You are the coach of the Raiders. What's your message to them?
I think this is going the Raiders' way. They're getting most of the football. They're getting most of the yardage. Have they converted as much as they should have? No. I would just keep finding ways to get in the hands of Villicano and Honda. The way that they're evading and moving, SA can't stop them when they've got the ball in their hands with a little bit of room to move.
And
defensively, guys, we're just going to put 6 defensive backs out there and stake your position and rack up the intercepts.
Yeah, so dare I promote myself to head coach of the Sharks?
Yeah, I think you'd be better than me, mate.
It's only 2 touchdowns.
It's a 12-0 ball game. Exactly. This, I do not know why the play calling is for the long throws, which is what you're doing when you're 3 or 4 touchdowns down. We've got a half of football to go. Put together one sustained drive, right back in it.
They are certainly not out of it.
Going long. Speaking of long sustained drives, looking for Honda. Everyone going for the ball. No flags. Incomplete. We'll bring up second down.
Incomplete pass there.
Just the 1 touchdown call. WA have 2 remaining. Not sure how much time is left. Unfortunately today we don't have our officials mic'd up, so we are sort of guessing as we go along.
Well, we'll certainly get there. I'll do the best that I can, trying to decipher signals.
We've had 5 plays, 5 plays since the 2-minute warning was given. They've all been to the air. Some have been incomplete, some have been out of bounds, some have got the first down. So we might have gone a minute. Again, they go to the edge of that slant pass on the sideline, trying to stop the clock when need be. That's it. Get the yardage, get the first down, step out of bounds, stop the clock. That's how you do a 2-minute drill.
It's a long 2-minute drill, though. They've got a long, long way to go. I think you might see empty backfield at some point. Just see whether they can get a touchdown before half-time. Don't know how long's left, again, without being able to hear the umpires, because the umpires talk about the time left as well.
Yeah, Jonathan. G'day to John. He remembers the Sand Bowl.
I think I should bring that back, I reckon.
Well, what we did was, we opened it up to the community. We had a women's comp, we had a senior comp.
There's a flag down, and the chains are moving.
And
are they moving to the spot of the foul? Is that another
yeah,
PI?
The controversy the Razorbacks actually lost the grand final. And Eric will love this, to the Adelaide Avalanche ice hockey team.
In the sandbowl.
In the sandbowl. And it was great. We had some rugby union teams, we had some cricket teams who were just free for the day to play some flag football. And it was a fun event at the Bay Sports Festival.
Well, here you go. No, I thought we were going to have an empty backfield. New QB. No, it's not. Same one, sorry, my bad.
Gastrov, same receiver. And that, just let me confirm that number. Yes, it is. Number 7, Denzel Purnell, who Taz is going to tell me all about that. All about Denzel in a second. That's a touchdown, and I reckon that could be your game breaker. It puts WA up by 3 touchdowns with the conversion to come.
Yeah, just on the corner route. Just see whether we can see. Just beating, he's in acres of space and good, strong arm, and he's put that exactly where it needs to be.
Yep.
Good throw from Ben Gastrov. I've been very impressed with Gastrov. He's a large human being, you would say. He's not lineman big, but he's certainly got a bit about him.
I'm pretty sure Gastrov has, look, the name is familiar. And if it's familiar to me, that means he was playing about 10, 12 years ago.
I'm sure we'll get help from our resident WA expert.
From Taz?
Yeah. He's been very, very impressive in this first half.
He looks poised in the pocket, admittedly thrown a couple of picks, but he's found his guys much more than he's found ours. 2-point conversion. This is where they've fallen down, if anywhere, the Raiders. Looking for the 2. This is for the touchdown catcher in Denzel Purnell. And that is no good. So, whilst the scoreboard says 16-0, it is 18-0. And we are on the verge of half-time. And it's been a long half, and we could do with a break.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. But just on the hour, really.
Just the play count would be huge in this one.
Well, like you said, the ball's been thrown. It's like a high school football game. It's just long ball after long ball after long ball after long ball.
Now, there was a penalty that was called on the Raiders.
So they're going to kick from the 10. So that gives Henry Olsen a chance.
Got a lot of field to work with, and maybe not sure how many seconds are left. It would be seconds now, surely, for South Australia to get something before the half-time break.
So decent return, and then maybe empty backfield and chuck it as far as you can.
To Olsen, picks it up from the 20. Here comes the run back, right up the middle and wide into a Perth blitz. That was Mitchell Kavanagh, number 24, who takes care of that return. I think Mitchell is with the blitz. I think I saw that on a comment somewhere, that white helmet. So Sharks ball just in Raiders territory. Shoot, Ad, you can't see it here, but folks, decent crowd here, especially on the grandstand wing and the pockets on both sides, as you can hear the 10 o'clock train to Outer Harbour honking its way along.
He knows he's on TV as well.
Yes.
And that's Van Pommelen in the backfield.
Here you go, Spartans quarterback, throws, has had the man and incomplete. Pass was right there, Dave.
Had Rennie. So the first time we've seen Van Pommelen in the competition.
So tell me, quarterback of the Spartans, how'd the Spartans go this year?
that's mean, Phil.
Sorry.
That's just
well, you can word it any way you want, Dave.
We were unbeaten. Or we remain unbeaten.
And if you played by EPL rules, you'd be the premiers.
We should be the premiers.
That's it.
There was an interesting end, but
we go again. This one's caught. Was it in bounds? No. No, 2 side judges on either side of that called it in unison. You should get an awesome look at this from our Skycam. As you can see some of the blocking. Here comes the throw. Nice catch, but no.
He looked like he had 1 foot in.
I think he had 1 foot on the line.
Oh,
no chance to go.
To South Australia,
no, come on.
Gordon.
No chance to go to the Skycam because Van Pammelen's going hurry up here. First time he's been in action, decides this time I'm going to keep it. He's going to go for a run. He'll get some good yardage here and pays a bit of the price, as that is Ben Middleton bringing the Perth Blitz to Riverside Oval.
Funny story about Nathan, because you would expect as per usual. It opened up in front of him and he went, which is, you know, what he's coached to do. Would he slide? No. The reason he doesn't slide? Because he can't.
He can't.
He's like Zoolander. He can't turn left, he can't slide.
Now, that is it for half-time, folks. Just checking that it wasn't a timeout, but the chain crew have had enough. Officials are heading for the change room. That is usually a very good sign. It's half-time.
They've given up on it.
We will take a break. Just checking with our producer. We're allowed to take a break. Yes, we can. We'll check out on the state of overall as well. That's an important one to do. We'll be back with hopefully a very entertaining second half. It is the Raiders 18, the Sharks 0 in the Australian Gridiron League.
So we're back, half-time. Phil? What is it? 16 points to nil? 18 points to nil. Spoke to Drew Aitken at half-time. They're in it. South Australia are in it. It's also had a quick chat with Andrew Stevens, one of the captains. Big plays. They can't keep giving up the big plays. I think that's what's killing them. And they're in agreement. They just need to stop giving up that big yardage.
Yeah, they're putting the ball up a lot. That makes it a game of big plays, and that WA have made more than South Australia. I mean, the 18 doesn't worry me too much. It's more the duck egg that South Australia has at the moment. They changed the quarterback, started to get something rolling before half-time kicked in.
Yeah.
I want to see a sustained drive from the Sharks and something on the scoreboard before I get too excited.
They could have done with getting points on the board.
But they will get
before half-time, and that's what I mean. So you would have had 2 bites at the cherry.
Andre Benjamin from the 5-yard line. The South City Chief looks for somewhere to run. Evans takes up the middle, bumps off the first, and will be down at about the 32. And that's where the Sharks and Nathan Van Pamelen takes over.
Decisive. That's what I spoke to people. I spoke to, his name escapes me, Ross Smith last week, who's been around the game a while. He says, make one cut, be decisive, and go. And that's what we saw from...
Well, for SA, this is it. When they next go into the change rooms, this season is done. WA a lot more to play for.
So we are seeing Van Pamelen into the backfield.
And that is not the start they wanted. Fumble on the ball. Western Australia are claiming it. And it will be WA ball. We've got a Wolfpack on it. Patrick Burling, number 26. We hyped it up, we got excited, and then that happened. And it will be Raiders ball. They'll start in Shark territory at the 28. And if they can put one more score on the board, I'd say this one is done and dusted.
Football will do that to you.
Rip your guts out right out of you.
Just stamp all over you. What was interesting, Tassie,
yep,
our Western Australian expert, asked whether there should have been a challenge flag on that reception on the end. We're not far away from that. Not far away from being able to bring the umpires up here, but we do have to be out of here.
We'll give you the third official.
I had this with rugby.
No one.
Can I be? I'm kind of the unofficial one. The unofficial.
Just nothing with pressure attached. 1st and 10 Raiders.
Changing quarterback for them. Nathan McCann has come in. Whistles, which suggests a false start.
Well, this is where it gets interesting, and for me, it's probably a little bit early. It's a 3-play game, 3-possession. 3-score game at the moment. 4, I think, is your magic number. I think I said something along the lines of in Gridiron SA terms. Once you got about 19 up, that was about it.
Yeah.
WA are probably there now. But Gastrell, gee, looked good, and he'll be plenty for Coach John Rowe and the Sun Devils to think about for next week.
So Nathan McCann has come in. Now, we talked about this before we came on air. If, and it is an if, it's still an if Western Australia begin to push this out, do they start playing... They have started to...
Villicano, who took the opening catch, he's still out there and he's gained good yardage. Really see if WA adjust. Now, they would have seen what we've seen, the other footage. They would have seen Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland run with aplomb against the Sharks.
Yeah,
and they haven't done that today.
They haven't, and which the South Australian coaching team were quite pleased about. But obviously they've come out and started with the run.
They've almost tried to beat South Australia at South Australia's game, but it's... 2nd down and 10, right? 2nd down and 10. McCann goes to the air. As we've seen a fair bit with teams heading to the Southern City Airport end, they've tended to overthrow it a bit. And that will be incomplete. We'll bring up 3rd down.
So, again, trying to, put my analyst hat on. That's tough for Drew Aitken. He, changes his QB because Tedmondson throws 3 interceptions on the bounce. His backup QB comes in, does some good stuff for half time, and then first play of the second half, coughs it up.
Yeah. Sharks defense have had their moments. They need to find another one here on a 3rd and long situation. Not let this new quarterback get some rhythm going. On that occasion, the throw intended for Strickland on the high side, and you tend to find that if quarterbacks are nervous and that adrenaline is going a little bit harder, they go high, they go long, And that's what we've seen thus far in the
Just
third quarter.
not getting his feet set. It's an interesting one. I wonder how much game time McCann has seen through this competition.
Where's the green helmet, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Claremont Jets.
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 Not that I say anything of that with the Western Australians with any confidence. Now, are we seeing a field goal attempt here? I think we are.
So what's that? That's 44? 34, 44 yards.
44 yards,
blocked.
And it's blocked.
That's a ball. It's a forward. It's still bouncing around. It's a question of a forward pass, but that's really good field position.
A fumble risky, and that involved the Raiders.
Probably needed to hide that. Just hide that a little bit better.
Look, lots of players around it, they may not have seen what we see. Which is fair enough because the officials see a lot
The
that
officials
we don't.
got it. They certainly got it. So good block. I think it's Andrew Stevens who comes up with it and just chucks it forward.
Yeah, all right.
What, me, ref?
So, yeah, SA saying that was a batter. Officials saying something separate. It is no doubt about it, it's South Australian ball. It was a fumble on 4th down.
Just not as good a field position as they would have ended up with. Van Pamelen is still in there.
So not far off midfield, the Sharks. Second series in the second half. The first one was a fumble on the first play. Oh, and this is not much better. Nolte picks it up, trying to make something out of a broken play. He's met in the deep, deep backfield. And oh my goodness.
Nerves, I think. That the pitch just isn't going to where it needs to go to.
No.
And that's 2 on the bounce for Van Pamelen.
Just looking at Teddy, he's standing close to the coach.
Well, as all good backups should.
He's just reminding Mr. Aitken know that I'm here and I'm ready if you need me. We go to the play, 3rd down. Here's the pass from Van Pamelen, and again, and look, it's just not happening at the moment because that's the second time Van Pamelen's thrown. Both have been on the money. Both have been dropped on the numbers.
Sam Morton, they gave him big ups in the first half, and he's dropped that one cold. So each of the South Australian players will get a rookie who does things like carry the bags for them when they go on away trips and stuff like that. I'll come back to that.
So 3rd down and long. SA needs something going here. Van Pamelen looks. He's going to take off. Can't fumble a pitch out if you don't pitch it out. Can't drop a pass if you don't throw it. And he eventually gets close to the 1st down marker, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be short.
Percentages. But Sam Morton is Nathan Van Pamelen's rookie.
Oh, okay.
So he won't be very happy that he dropped that pass.
But the bag boy. Didn't they outlaw
Extra
that
bag carrying. Extra bag carrying for Sam Morton, I think, today. Is there a flag on that one as well? Just trying to keep an eye on the umpire. Holding on the offence.
Yeah. It's declined. WA take the play.
So 3rd and 18?
No, it's going to be 4th down and about 4.
So Tedmondson will come into punt.
Yes. Which is fair enough. He's the starting punter. I think he might be tempted to throw his own fake out there maybe.
I don't know.
Just have one last throw in the AGL.
Oh, yeah, I got injury reports as well.
Yeah. We'll get those just at the change of possession right now. It's 4th down and 4. WA about to get the ball back for the second time this season. Tedmondson under some pressure, did well to get it away, but you can tell because he had to kick towards the sideline, although WA with Honda doesn't need much of an invitation to return a punt. Not much there, though.
He'll have a go from anywhere. He will have a go from anywhere. So injury-wise, Brad overall is okay. I think it was shock more than anything else initially when he felt that contact on the knee. Having been there, it bends funny. Kind of hold your breath and hope that everything's okay in there. Darren Legg is questionable. He's not sure whether he's going to come back. He twisted awkwardly. He was in a kick return. So same kick return, I think. Oh no, it was a different kick return. So he's questionable, but we will expect to see Brad overall back at some point.
And that is really excellent news because early on that didn't look too great. Quarterback keeper. And the Jet shows pretty good on the tarmac, gaining about 8 yards, and will bring up second down and maybe 2 to 3. And I think this is where WA would just like to, they're in control of this game, keep the ball, move the chains, keep it away from SA doing something remarkable, and if they can put some more points on the board and slowly but surely take an undefeated record into the finale against Queensland next week.
Moving the chains is the big one. If you're capable of moving the chains, you can keep the defense out there. Another QB keeper.
Yeah, he looked right, looked left, and ran straight into a couple of red jumpers. That'll be a loss on the play. Not sure we'll register that as a sack. You'd have to say that was pretty much a running
We'll give it them. Just give it them.
Third down. Third and long. So we're going to see the arm of Nathan McCann here probably. Yeah, the two excitement machines for mine, the Sharks, Burford as receiver and Myers as DB, have not called them today.
They have not thrown Myers' way. They probably watched some game tape.
Yep.
Do not throw a quick route Myers' way.
Let's see if they've watched this. And then there's a pass, there's a catch, and there's your first down. Good conversion on a long distance third down for WA, and that, I think, was Luke Hegney in the Outback helmet.
I'm just trying to see Sam Myers. I can't see him out there.
Strange not to have called him on a tackle or...
I don't think he's out there.
There he is, blue tent. Not on the field at the
moment. Not on the... Yeah. James O'Connor, who is wearing the 25, who's the other one we had to do, is playing in that position that we normally see Sam Myers.
1st and 10. Running play to the Raiders sideline. And that's another phantom. Help! We go to our Facebook page, number 21.
We'll just call him the bus from now on.
Ran like one.
He certainly got going.
He's from
in the black and gold.
From the Titans.
In the black and gold, he looked a little bit like Jerome Bettis when he was on the hoof.
The WA competition. It's clubs. We'll go through them through the course of the second half. But it's 1st and 10 Raiders looking to extend an 18-point lead. They've changed the quarterback. They've run the ball. Here's the bus. 21. It's an express service. Non-stop to the end zone. I'm calling it Raiders are home. The score 24-0 with the conversion to come.
Yeah, I think I actually had a chat with this young man this morning. And
did you ask him his name?
Well, no, I didn't. But I thought he was a lineman. It looks like Tia. Drew Shelford Tia.
Okay, it was 41 now.
Still 41.
Okay.
Just snuck in under the radar for us.
Snuck in there you go. Never mind, that is a strong run. Touchdown Raiders. One thing they have yet to do here is put something after the touchdown.
So they've gone under centre.
Yeah. Pass is underthrown. Good pressure there from Ross Ryak.
Hit as he was thrown. Two-tone.
Two-tone.
Affectionately known as.
He wears a maroon helmet, but I don't think he's with the Razorbacks.
I think he is. I think he plays middle linebacker for the Razorbacks.
The Chiefs?
No, I don't think he's the Chiefs. I think he is a Razorback.
Just on the WA clubs mention, we're going to give them a mention. Here's some names for you. Pick what do you think's the best name? Claremont Jets, Curtin Saints, Perth Blitz, Perth Broncos. So the Jets, Saints and Broncos, 3 of the old timers. The Champions, the Rockingham Vipers, the Swan City Titans, Westside Steelers, another old time club, and my favourite, the West Coast Wolverines.
Well, there's a couple there. I will go with the Swan City, which is
Titans.
Swan City Titans, because a good friend of mine went and played with them last year.
Long kickoff. Benjamin will see that go into the end zone. You can see the breeze. That's into the end zone and beyond. Will be a touchback for the Sharks.
So the Swan City Titans, Ryan Ottens went over and played for them.
Yep.
Spartan has played for the Outbacks. A formidable force at middle linebacker, not playing this year, just trying to get his back right. Whether he'll be up and about for the Outback season, I don't know, but still probably will be knocking on that door. But I can't go past the Jets. I am a Jets fan. Happy with our work in the draft this year.
So, Hamlin, we're going to see, is that a South Australian running play up the middle I saw there?
Yes, we don't see many of them. Hamish Lee Robbins just puts the shoulders down and tries to gain a couple. Gain a couple he does.
He does. So, interesting times now how these teams approach the rest of the game. For SA, they really can't leave anything in the cupboard. There is no next week. Their season will end right here, right now, and they'll go into a bit of a winter recess before their various clubs get underway for the Gridiron SA season starting August, September. Here we go. Burford's got the ball in his hand, likes to make something happen. On this occasion, a gain of maybe 3 to 4.
The issue with the reverse is you run a long, long way for very little yardage.
You've got to invest a lot before you get a return.
Something I'm trying to keep my eye on is the body language of these Sharks players, both offensively and defensively, because they will also know that really 4 scores down, it is a big ask.
Yeah, it's almost you've got to focus on the short term. We've got the ball. Let's get this play right. Let's get the ball moving. Let's get a score. Van Pamelen decides he's going to keep and does the cartwheel. That'll make a highlights tape somewhere. Kevin Hurt with the hit. That's what I love about our replays. We get to see it. And whoop.
There we go.
And the beauty of that is everybody looks spectacular and everybody gets up.
Everybody's fine.
Yeah.
So the punt team will come back in. But I'm going to just try and keep an eye on body language. I just hope they don't deflate too much.
Yep. Interesting discussion between quarterback and coach on the sideline. A few hands being pointed in different directions on the field of who should be where, what and why. Raiders about to get the ball back. Tedmondson got the kick away. Takes a good sharp bounce. It probably needed it. Will be down at the 27. Raiders ball. And we talk about the Sharks and their season ending, but for the Raiders, what's their mindset now?
Well,
big game ahead.
We talked about this. Is this the time you see the replacements come in? Is this the time that they start to put their starters on ice? Because they've got a very long trip next week. Yep. Oh, no, they're at home.
Queensland have the trip.
Well, you talk about home field advantage. That's certainly something that...
and whilst Queensland have flown in and out same day today, I think, and there's a penalty against Western Australia in this process, they'll be put deeper back. Queensland are making a weekend of it. They're flying in Friday, playing Saturday, which I think, given that the national title is up for grabs, is not a bad investment.
And I had a little bit of a panic because I saw Andre Benjamin go and get street shoes out of his bag, and I was wondering whether there was an injury issue, but it looks like Burford's just doing some running repairs on his cleats. He's lost a lace.
Underway in Wollongong, couple of minutes gone, no scorers yet. We'll keep an eye on that for you. As WA are off and running. Big run here across midfield. Doug Stewart. They brought a couple of buses with them all the way across the Nullarbor.
I know for a fact that South Australia spoke about it on Wednesday. The words do not allow big plays were ringing in their ears as they got to the ground this morning, and you have to say it's too many. Yep. Too many big plays. You keep moving the chains, you keep the defense on the field, you keep the offense off the field, which means that Nathan Van Pamelen's going to get cold. Yep. There's too much going wrong at the moment, but Western Australia have been very, very good in what they've done. They've been very business-like. That one is a sack.
That one is a sack, no doubt about that. Textbook.
Oliver Edwards.
Oliver Edwards has a AGL sack to his credit. Will be a loss of about 3 or 4. We'll bring up second, and I'll make it 13.
But we shouldn't take anything away from Western Australia. They've come over. They've done everything they need to do.
They would take a bit of... looking at this game, obviously, first thing is win. Probably play a consistent 4 quarters because they haven't so far. And I reckon if they can pitch a shutout, using a baseball term, they would go back to Perth pretty happy as they prepare for next week. They'll go to the air this time. Back to Edwards. Back to Stewart, sorry. So, again, I think we're seeing the Raiders bring in some guys that we haven't seen before, utilising their roster. And look, it is awesome. We come to these games having been involved with Clubland for a while. We see a full sideline. We see 42 players aside. We see 8 officials. This is the scale of the game that it should be.
And I think it's important to say as well that the players fund this. This isn't funded for them. This is a big financial outlay for all of these players.
Pay to play, and it ain't cheap. As McCann goes back, looking for the fast side. I reckon that's a WA catch. It is Bojan Vucic, who had a big play earlier. Lost his helmet in the process.
Big gunslinger. He almost Brett Favre-like in the back with a sidearm out there. But it got there. It got the job done.
And you'd have to say...
And there'll be some QB coaches who were...
coming off with a little bit of assistance, which is not quite the end of the play you want to see, but it is a first down Raiders.
There would be some QB coaches who were looking at that and picking apart the mechanics of it, but it got there.
Yeah.
It's WA just going about this now, and you would think that the way that they've been able to move the chains, this one is an uphill struggle for South Australia.
Turning out that way. Here's Edwards again. He's enjoying the opportunity. Looking for that end zone. Got there. It is all Raiders. The score's 30-0, and we still got plenty left in this third quarter.
He had an escort all the way on that. Just bowling over a couple. Number 61 for Western Australia, William Marcus. Almost being directed from the back by Stewart. He gets hold of him and puts him where he wants him to be. Well, Stewart must be getting close. Must be getting close to 100 yards in this second half. He's only had a couple of carries, but big ones. 3 runs over 20 yards, I would say.
So, they are so far zipping 4 on 2-point conversions. Flag on the play. If the play holds, they'll be zipping 5, but there is a flag thrown real early.
Offsides, I think I saw a signal from our side judge. Yeah, offsides. Again, little errors.
Yeah.
So here's the next question then. South Australia now in kind of dead rubber territory. Coming back from 30 points down is going to be tough. 5 touchdowns down. Unlikely to see a comeback. Is this where you start to put in your backups?
Yeah. No good.
Another one unsuccessful. So, for example, Ben Martin from the Spartans. I haven't seen him on the field too much. Sam Myers was on then. Do we start to see the secondary receiver core come in to give them some game time? Or do we keep with the likes of Rennie and Burford? Burford's relatively quiet this game.
Yep. No, look, if it was me, I would. At this point, I mean, these guys are paid to play. If they're not in the top team, and you're looking for, you're playing to win, then you put your best out there. But if the game's out of hand, give everybody a run, get them the experience. But we'll see how both play it. Edie with the kick. Benjamin with the catch from about the 5. Still going on that outer side down at about the 23-yard line. That will do it for the kick return, and we'll see Van Pamelen out there and getting all sorts of interesting signals from the sideline. I'm sure it translates into some sort of a play. Just the games ahead, folks. Don't forget, underway already is New South Wales, Queensland. Early days, no score. Next week, now, 12 o'clock New South Wales time, Victorian time, will be what looms as the battle for third place, Victoria and New South Wales. And then 3 o'clock East Coast, 1 o'clock. So 4 o'clock East Coast, 1 o'clock. I'll get it right in a sec. As we've got the tip drill. 3 o'clock East Coast, 2:30 Adelaide, 1 o'clock West Coast. It's WA Queensland, and that will be well worth tuning in for. Because WA will be undefeated. Queensland look like they have a decent chance to be likewise.
Van Pamelen just overthrowing Benjamin. So Benjamin is out there. Benjamin got up slowly from the kick return. Just keep an eye on him and see whether he can come back into it. They'll go a quick out. That one is caught. Gets the corner back at exactly the same time. Reece Smith. Yep. He's hit hard and he's going to come out. So here's an interesting one. Tedmondson has put himself into receiver.
Well, that's what he was known as.
Well, let's see what he can do.
And he is a very, very good receiver. Although he's not going to be throwing the ball on this occasion.
They go to Benjamin.
Go to Benjamin, who is very much a live wire for the South City Chiefs. Also played a bit of backup quarterback. And South Australia, is that a first down? I'm seeing.
The chains are moving.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, celebrate. South Australia moving the chains.
Right on 3/4 time. Well, that was a quarter that WA dominated. And right on the end, South Australia get their first down for the quarter. This is usually back in my PA day, David, where I'll break out the YMCA, my version of the 7th inning stretch.
That flew by that quarter.
It did, and it might well be that you'll see the final quarter fly by. We do have a time to get out of here, although we've got another hour before that comes into play.
Yeah, 1 o'clock is the time we need to get out.
And part of it is they've started running the ball a bit more, especially Western Australia.
Because I will say that if you're enjoying the coverage here, then stay with us. Space Quake Sports will be covering the Rugby Union Premier League. That will kick off at 3 o'clock, 3:20. South Australian time, if you enjoyed the coverage.
Might hear a
join us for
voice.
that. You will hear a familiar voice. I'm working a double shift today.
I would hear you call touchdowns during the rugby union game, as Burford caught it and probably wished he didn't, as Telia Bragovitis came over and made a big hit.
It's a wobbly old throw coming out from Van Pamelen, and I'm sure that as Burford saw that one coming to him and it was high, they're the ones you don't really want to see.
No,
but he brought it in. Big thing with the receivers, you've got to know that the contact is coming.
Yeah, and he held on to the ball, did everything right. 2nd and 10, no gain on that play. Quarterback drops and keeps and finds some running room.
Might have moved the chains again. If he hasn't, he's close to it.
That is across midfield, which in this occasion is the 45-yard line. First down, Sharks, and that is 2 on the same drive.
Now, that's something that Drew Aitken has worked on, that if the pressure comes, it comes on the outside, and it should open up in the middle. Van Pamelen decisive and going.
Yep, made the early decision and went. This time to the air, has the pass. It was just, oh my, that was a floater. Anything could have happened there.
He's been, he won't mind me saying, he struggles with those swing passes, those quick swing passes. He just doesn't seem to get his feet set quick enough to give him the platform to really fire it out there. If there's something he wants to improve in his game over the short off-season that we will have, because I think the pre-season for the Spartans will happen in August, that's probably something that he will want to look at before then.
Pamelen keeps, and there's a whole pile of black out there, and he's underneath it all.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
And just on the worry at one of the Raiders players in the white helmet, and I don't want to call a number until I'm sure on it, I think came up a little bit gimpy on that one and is down.
Well, this one's still down.
Yes, that's what the timeout's been called for.
Yeah. It looks like an 8 when he's not overly comfortable. Moving though, which is always a good sign.
Communicating, as you can see. And that's what WA would want to now try and avoid with their key starters. And of course for these guys, they're back on a plane and they're back to work on Monday.
That's the big thing about playing Gridiron, because Gridiron is it's a tough old sport. You have to play on the Saturday and then get yourself up to go to work on the Monday morning.
And there was a time in Gridiron SA where we had 6 teams. And sometimes we played the third game on a Friday night, and sometimes we played at midday on a Sunday. And that was tough, because you really had no recovery time before work the next day.
Not much movement at the moment. One thing I will say while this is happening, I've seen Darren Legge is taking the jersey off. So we are unlikely to see him return.
So his AGL is done.
There's a couple of Western Australians as well who've derobed somewhat over there, and I think they are getting themselves ready, just putting themselves on ice.
No doubt about it. Next week, Perth becomes the centre of the Gridiron Australia universe. Not only the big AGL finale for the champ, well, WA will be playing for the championship. Queensland might be, depending on their result today.
So I think I saw a 28, which is Jared Bennett's. They've taken his pads off, so one would assume that's not a neck or back problem.
Yep. Well, it's not the way he's moving the neck at the moment.
No, they're looking at that ankle. Might be another one of those rolling ones. Yeah. You see it, and the linemen just get caught up with each other.
Yep. Just what's coming up in Perth. We've got the game next week. Then the May the 27th, 26th, 27th is the Gridiron Australia National Coaching Conference, which also marks the start of the Woggle, or the Waggle. I'm not sure how to pronounce it just yet.
Women's Australian Gridiron League. There's a couple of girls from South Australia who'll be going over there. They've been working hard. They train twice a week under the watchful eye of Andrew Stevens, because, being president of the league and president of the Spartans and the head coach of the Spartans wasn't enough for him. He also wants to coach the girls.
So we've now got a scenario where, unfortunately, we're still not 100% sure on the player because he's taken the jersey off.
It was number 28. I saw the jersey come off. Okay. It's Jared Bennett's. What's interesting as well is away to our right, there is an Australian rules team warming up. Now, I've been here.
Yep, that's Morphettville Park.
I've been here on numerous days, and never has an AFL team warmed up over there.
Well, that's because
I think they might want to have a look at what's going on this field.
Actually, they might not, is it? I'll check it out. Oh, Flinders Park. Sorry, my apologies.
I must admit, I got a little bit confused when I first saw them, because they're wearing the colours of the Sharks.
Very much so.
There they are.
If the Sharks ever played Aussie rules, that would be what they'd look like.
Having a sneaky look at what's going on at Riverside Oval.
3rd down and long. Back to the game we go. Quarterback down and dusted. And there'll be a little bit of pain inflicted there. 4th and long.
No time at all, really, to get anything out of that. So Tedmondson will come out.
South Australia's best drive, 2 first downs about to end right here at midfield. So basically we're in a multi-sports complex. We've got Gridiron, Rugby Union, Rugby League at this oval. We have a little athletics complex currently getting a workover. And over the other side of the hill, just the other side of those trees that you see there, folks, is an Aussie rules oval where the Port Adelaide District Cricket Club and the Portland Thunder Aussie Rules Club play, and they are playing Flinders Park today. Tedmondson with the kick, fumbled ball, it's live. However, picked up by Villacano, he's spun around.
Pele Di Francesco working really hard to get there and get first hands on. I think he was hoping for a turnover.
Di Francesco just needs to pull that jersey down a bit. Rule number 1, make sure we can see your numbers so we can call you.
Pele's unmistakable.
1st and 10 Raiders. Into the final quarter. I've lost my internet connection, so can't check on your comments. Apologies, can't check on scores.
I can try the comments.
I'm just going to have to focus on the game, Dave.
Controversial.
Yeah. Raiders 1st and 10. They line up with a couple of runners in the backfield, one receiver on either side, and they go to the ground.
They're tackled by Leroy Whiten. He's not someone I've seen a lot of. The wind's picking up here. We nearly lost our tent.
That's Phantom 21. Now, did we establish that 41 is Drew Shelford Tia, and 21 we're still not sure about? But we do thank a provision of a roster earlier in the week helps us get ourselves semi-organised.
Another handoff, stuffed in the middle. I think that's Howie. Or it might be Voller, actually. I got confused by the Oilers helmet. Voller making the stop.
John Liu, number 48 on the carry for the Raiders. So that just by these relatively new numbers, you can see that they're just bringing in some new guys.
Yeah, there has been some changes.
And we can see if they're running, if they do run a continuous clock. We never really know. As mentioned,
I don't think there's a signal for the continuous clock.
It's
but we're probably getting into continue. They are aware they need to be away by 1 o'clock, but I think there's an hour to go and we're in the 4th quarter. I don't think that's going to be an issue.
McCann has his man. Luke Egney, nice long pass play and a good diving catch.
Getting beaten deep. Yeah, there are some changes now. Isaac Muslim is out at cornerback. There are some changes. Sam Myers is over there. I think the safeties have changed now. We've got Oliver Edwards out the back and Leroy Whiten's out the back. So yeah, there's been some changes now. I think with the best will in the world, that is Drew Aitken putting the cue in the rack.
Yep.
Writing this one off. Now the game's never over till it's over, but this is about as over as it can be.
Still got to beat 11 guys, and these 11 guys have, some of them will be a bit fresher and ready to prove themselves on this stage. Pass across for Edwards on the far side, makes the catch, trying to strip the ball, but nothing there. Doug Stewart, on the reception.
Leroy Whiten flying in there, making up for the time that he's missed possibly in the series. The number 6, Josh Jack is out there as well, somebody we haven't called, number 90. Haven't called too much of him. He's a big, tall individual playing on the end.
So it'll be an interesting debrief for SA when it's all said and done. They do have some structural issues to work through. 2nd down and 8. McCann with the carry. Looks to step out of bounds, which he does. Takes the down marker with him. We're the smallest league in the AGL.
Yep.
New South Wales has 12 teams. Victoria has 12. Queensland has a bundle. WA has 8. We have 5. We're not known really as having a great culture of big players, and that's been a thing that's caused us. We won a national championship in '96 on the back of some really good talent. And I'm just wondering what SA needs to develop over the next couple of years to be better next time round. As on the carry, it's Doug Stewart, gain of about 5.
I had an interesting conversation with the new Oilers head coach.
Okay, who is the new Oilers head coach?
Steve Rudd. Is it Steve?
Steve.
S.J. Rudd. That's a.
Oh yes, yep.
We're talking about what he wants to do with next year and what he wants to do with the Oilers next year. And it's an interesting point is that you coach to our league. You coach to the South Australian League, which is a very, very fast, light league.
Yes. It's a track meet.
Yeah.
Often.
Which
relative to other states.
So then when you start looking at the AGL and you start coming across runners like Shelford Tia and the big guy from New South Wales 2 weeks ago,
yep.
It's a different look.
Yep.
So how do we make that step from the style of football that we play in South Australia to the style of football that's played at an AGL level and a gridiron and at an outback level? I think they're the big questions for South Australia going forward. That being said,
pass thrown incomplete. We'll bring up an interesting 4th down decision for the Raiders here. From there, about a 30-yard field goal attempt, should they elect to try it, and the quarterback's heading to the sideline, so I reckon that's what we're going to see. Yeah, for mine...
That being said, this is an incredible experience for everybody wearing a red jersey.
And, I looked at some of the scores last year, and I'll share them if we get a chance, that, there were massive blowouts last year, 50-60. We haven't seen that this time. We've seen 46 points was the biggest margin, and that was a game that just wasn't played in SA's conditions in the wet. As WA here, Keith Eady, 73. We already had WA kicking a winning field goal.
Looks like a 29-yard attempt.
Kick is up. Looks good off the boot. Gee, that.
Those whistles.
I think it missed. Had the distance.
There was whistles beforehand, though. If there was a penalty and it's against WA, you would expect South Australia to decline it.
No, it's no points. 30-0. Look, two things for mine. Really great to hear that 70 players came out for the initial tryouts. You know, we're talking about a league that has...
It was almost the whole league was out there.
Just over 200 players, so half the league coming out. I like what I see from some of the kids. And I'm just wondering if maybe instead of having a program that runs for late January to April to get ready, it needs to be a 2-year concept. So the run, play, gain for 4. So if we're going to play essays type of game, where it's more your offensive passing, I've got no idea how you do defensively against the run unless you just find some bodies.
I would assume that the difficulty with people going in and coming out and the attrition rate would kind of knock your 2-year program on it. Yeah. But we have seen sort of wholesale personnel changes now. That one's Oliver Edwards.
And I mean, next year in theory is an outback year, so the best of the best are committed to national program. That's why the AGL is every 2 years. But to say, okay, we're going to appoint a coach for the AGL in 2020 now, put a program together, find out who wants to commit for that time, and just start building it early. Make use of the time that's available.
I think I could certainly pay off the fees over a 2-year period.
Well, that makes it a little bit easier. And, you know, maybe at some point during that process, the team goes and plays a Victoria in Melbourne or goes over to Perth or does something that gets that bonding together. So you build it up over a longer time because the game style they want needs time to develop. And there's a fumble. This could be WA pick up and score. Well, we got the pick up, not the score. Raiders ball inside the red zone. It'll probably be first and goal.
Huge amount of pressure straight through the line again, untouched. They seem to have had issues picking up the blitz. And if you're in an empty backfield, the QB's all on his own if they get that penetration.
Not sure who got the recovery, but Ben Middleton with the pressure forced it. Let's have a look.
It's a 54.
54. So that is Telia Bragavitis. And this looks to be some icing on the cake, Dave, I reckon.
Well, I have to say I did say before, I'll keep an eye on body language, and the South Australian sideline looks pretty beat up at the moment. A lot of shoulders dropped. It's been... they haven't hit expectations, let me put it that way. Yeah. They expected to get a little bit more out of this AGL than they have. Yeah. They haven't quite got there.
I mean, today has been a disappointment. I actually thought that they had been building well. I like the improvement I saw the game Victoria to New South Wales, and then I think they really took it to Queensland early, and Queensland are probably the marker. Today, defensively kept with it for a while, but just offensively nothing going. And always hard to win a game if you can't put any points on the scoreboard.
That's very true. Wisdom is often simple, Phil.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that, you know, we talk about all the stats in Gridiron. If you lead at the end of the fourth quarter, you win 100% of the time. And that's what WA are doing. Second down.
Oh, these are open.
Looking for the man in the end zone. There's your 6th touchdown today. Bojan Vucic in the end zone. And it's 36-0 with the conversion to come.
Just maybe hold on that.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play. He was wide open. Just ran that wheel route and popped over the back.
Yeah. And that's always the trick. You're in the end zone.
That looks like a holding.
The ball's overthrown. It's coming back. No score, folks. Yeah, you're in the end zone. You're open. Defender's coming at you. Ball's coming at you. You just hope the ball arrives first.
He was a mile open.
Well, it'll look good on the tape.
Well, yeah, when he sends it through to the American colleges.
Yeah, Second down.
You could just edit out the flag.
Here we go again.
That should be picked off. Oh.
Yeah, and should have been, wasn't Leroy White, and had it in the end zone, but couldn't bring it in. Intended for Luke Hegney. He's already had a touchdown to his name today.
He's played well. Hegney has played very, very well.
Yep.
As far as the Western Australians, it's very, very difficult to, everybody really has played well.
Well, I think
right across the board.
We always pick out the offensive stars. They're the ones we're calling. And we've got 2 minutes left in this contest. But first of all, you've got to start with the defence. 0 points allowed.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 first downs during the whole game.
So you start to look ahead, really, to the Queensland WA game over in Perth next week. And you would suggest...
As McCann keeps on 3rd and long. And it'll bring up 4th down, and I would assume WA are going to try another field goal.
You would suggest that we could see a Raider Championship this year, just basically on the fact that what's the flight from Queensland to Perth?
It's a good 4.5. It depends which way you're going. Going over is about an hour longer than coming back. 4.5, 5 hours, I think.
It's a long old way.
But Queensland are doing the right thing. They're flying over on the Friday.
Yeah. But even so, you've got to get that out of your system.
Well, we saw last week Victoria flew over and WA jumped them and were up 16-0 before Victoria even knew what had hit them. Now, Victoria got back in the game and found a way to lose it, but yeah, WA big home field advantage, which they conceded to Queensland when they lost last year in overtime. 40-yard field goal.
Blocked again.
Blocked. Live ball. Is that Sammy Myers?
It is. Rather further than he's used to running.
So, we remain at 30-0.
Well, it's been an interesting story of today. We've talked about special teams. We talked about special teams when we were here 2 weeks ago. With just how impressed we've been. Sammy Myers does get to run back, and we'll start them on around the 25-yard line, their own 25-yard line. But Western Australia, if there is any criticism of Western Australia, it's been their kicking today, their special teams, their point-after attempts.
Which has actually been the thing that's got them through a couple of their earlier games. So maybe, it's any given Sunday, anything could happen. And this is going to be pretty close to, no, it's not a safety, but it's...
I have to say, Van Pamelen was saved there by the umpire because he blew the whistle as he was going backwards and kind of wasn't finished at that point. And like you say, it could be close to a safety.
Well, I reckon we're down to probably our last play or two because we're inside the 2-minute warning. I reckon we've got a running clock. And so, depending if this is kept on the ground, I have a feeling this might be the last play of the match and the Sharks season. Van Pamelen to the air, tries to end on a big note, throws it to the Raider bench. And that'll maybe stop the clock. Yep, looks like we're going to have one more play at least. Should thank all our, well, you know them better than myself, Dave, the wonderful crew at Spacequake Sports. They get to hear us too, but there's a much bigger crew involved in the coverage.
Our ground cameras, Debbie and Murray, doing the work on the ground. Up on the scaffolding has been Carl. He's done a wonderful job. He wasn't overly comfortable when that thing went up there.
3rd and long. Again to the air they go. Tip drill incomplete.
Sitting in the booth to our left, we have Josh Tester, who's been doing his best with the clock, which is probably one of the most difficult jobs. And as always, sitting in the director's chair, in the controlling chair, is the one and only David Muggleton, who's absolutely fantastic. The godfather of local sports broadcast.
Absolutely. Spacequake Sports. Have a look at their website. Some great highlights. Certain Grand Slam home run that I kind of like.
And, well, yes, we'll talk about that another time, I think. And the other thing as well is that if you have enjoyed the coverage, don't worry, there is more South Australian sport coming.
4th and long, SA going for it. 5 receivers across the field. It's the last hurrah. Van Pamelen has a bit of time. Gets the throw, gets the catch. It's going to be not even a first down, South Australia. I got excited because it was beyond a
wrong marker. I've done that before.
Wrong cone because it was 4th and huge. It's going to be either turnover on downs or football game. It's football game. Raiders The best of the West have come and won, and they will be playing for their first national championship since the Federation Bowl in Canberra in 2001, when they tackle the Sun Devils next Saturday. Final score here, it is the Raiders 30, the Sharks 0.
Thank you very much for joining us. Like we said, though, South Australian sport is not over for the day. Go to the Rugby Union South Australia Facebook page, where you can see Burnside take on Old Collegians, kick off at 3:20. But thank you very much for joining us here at Port Adelaide. Wonderful morning, beautiful morning. The wind was up there. Phil, it's been an absolute pleasure. My name has been Dave Webb, and called to perfection by the South Australian Hall of Famer, Phil Herden.
Dave, thank you. Been a lot of fun doing it with you, and thank you for all the input from the viewers and the fans. And I want to give special kudos to the players who commit so much to this, their own time, their own money, to give us these highlights. Hope you enjoy the rest of the AGL and the Gridiron season ahead.